At the dawn of the 20th century, advancing technology was changing the way people lived. Railroads, ocean liners, and automobiles connected nations like never before, while the telegraph and radio allowed for the instant exchange of information across vast distances. The emergence of new machines and materials led to new opportunities as society raced to catch up in this rapid march forward. It was in this environment that time and motion study was born. As the world became increasingly dependent on technology, the stage was set for the scientific advancement of work methods. Frederick Winslow Taylor is often credited as the father of scientific management. He was born in Pennsylvania in 1856. As a young man, he had the opportunity to attend Harvard University. Although he could have followed in his father's footsteps and become a lawyer, he decided to forego university. Instead, Taylor apprenticed as a pattern maker and machinist. After his apprenticeship, Taylor was hired as a machine shop laborer by Midvale Steelworks in Philadelphia. While working at Midvale, Taylor began to observe significant inconsistencies and inefficiencies in the way people operated machines and performed their work. These observations became the inspiration for the scientific management techniques that would make Taylor famous. His time study technique was used to directly observe tasks and record the time it took to complete them. The analysis of these observations was used to determine the best methods for performing work. Frank Bunker Gilbreths Sr. was born in Fairfield, Maine in 1868. He started his career as a bricklayer and worked his way up to being a building contractor. Lillian Gilbreth was born in Oakland, California in 1878. She was one of the first female engineers to hold a PhD and was a pioneer of industrial psychology. This husband and wife duo dedicated much of their careers to studying work habits in order to increase output and make people's jobs easier. They even extended their interests to their family, as chronicled by their children, Frank Jr. and Ernestine, in the book Cheaper by the Dozen. To conduct their motion studies, Frank Gilbreth utilized one of the great emerging technologies of the time, motion pictures. He recorded over 250,000 feet of 35mm film, documenting the work methods of people in various industries. By analyzing the motions of workers, the Gilbreths sought ways to increase output and minimize fatigue by eliminating motion wastes such as stooping and walking. At the time, film had to be advanced through the camera manually using a hand crank. This caused the frame rate to be inconsistent. In order to achieve accurate timing, Frank Gilbreth placed a specially calibrated clock in the frame. The Gilbreths focused on eliminating physical and psychological fatigue, believing that this improved both productivity and the well-being of employees. In contrast, Taylor took a more bottom-line approach in order to make sure that employees were putting in what he called a fair day's work. This led to an ideological rift between the Gilbreths and Taylor. Despite this disagreement, it was quickly realized that the two methods could actually be extremely complementary, and they were combined as time and motion study techniques. Scientific management concepts, such as time and motion studies, were a major influence on other industrial pioneers, such as Henry Ford. After World War II, the Japanese manufacturing industry adopted American scientific management practices in order to overcome the challenges they were faced with. During this time, methods such as time and motion study influenced a new generation of visionaries, including Shigeo Shingo and Taiichi Ohno. Time and motion study remains a fundamental practice for modern lean organizations around the world. Although these techniques originated over a century ago, the early efforts of Frederick Taylor and the Gilbreths continue to have a major impact on the way people do work. Those who utilize time and motion study are inheriting this historical legacy. Moving into the future, it is sure to inspire the next generation of innovators to continuously develop new methods.